Listen up, you blundering fools. It's time for the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. Get all the toy talk your evil hearts could desire from these nincompoops. Jason, Corey, Elgin, and Spoody.
And yo, Joe! And welcome to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast, where a punk rock band of brothers get together to talk about one of our shared loves, toy collecting. We're here to celebrate how these little colorful pieces of plastic can turn anyone into a little kid again. Welcome, everyone. Let's introduce the band, your fellow podcast co-host, you giggling SOB. You're up first. You're on... That guy, he's on lead vocals, rhythm guitar. He's our real American hero. It's Corey Canny. Yo! Yes, salute. I saw a salute one of you guys. Next up, on vocals and lead guitar, a true master of the universe, the quiet one, Elgin Arney.
I have the power to say hello.
You definitely do. Next up, he's on the bass guitar. He's more than meets the eye. He's our Transformers guy. It's Spoody.
Hi.
That's him. He's the talkative. I'll add the talkative one in there next time.
Yep.
How you guys doing? It's been a couple weeks since we recorded, and man, it's taken forever to get here, right?
Feels like it.
So glad to be back.
Oh my God.
We got so much fun.
I'm here every day.
I know. So much fun toys in front of us. I can't wait to talk about. We have a very speculative show today.
Speculative?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about what toys we wished existed that do not. And we're also going to visit a toy store that our friend Larry took us to when we were on tour in Chicago a little bit later. That's that store Corey referenced before where he broke the Joe figure and tried to not get out of it.
Yes.
That's right.
You can follow us on Twitter at Cracktastic Pod. And on Facebook and Instagram at Cracktastic Plastic. But right now, let's talk about what toys you've picked up lately in a segment we call Thrill of the Hunt.
Listen up, you fools. If anyone knows more about searching for the most unique items in the world, it's me, Cobra Commander. In my reign as Cobra's leader, I have acquired countless items, but those meddling Joes have foiled my attempt at worldwide domination over and over again. But it's the thrill of the hunt that fuels my superb rule of Cobra. Pay attention to my loyal subordinates as they tell you of their latest exploits and acquisitions. It's the thrill of the hunt, Cobra!
All right, Corey Canny, you're up first, Smarty Pants. What'd you get? What do you got?
What did I get? I got some stuff. I went to Goodwill.
Stuff's cool.
I went to Goodwill. And I got these cool... They were cheap, too, because it's Goodwill and everything's cheap at Goodwill. I got Mega Bloks Halo and Mega Bloks Call of Duty collector construction sets. They're Legos. They just don't say Lego on them because you get sued, but they all fit Lego, and they've never been opened, so somebody bought these for their kid, and then the kid got in trouble, and then the kid got
off to the Goodwill.
Sent off to boarding school, and I got his fucking toys. It's cool. Yeah, Halo, Mega Bloks. This one is called
Halo.
Something. It's just called Halo. I don't know anything about Halo, other than it's a game. I just thought it looked like a cool toy.
I think both of those are video games.
Yeah. I know that it's a video game. I don't know what this machine is called. I'm sure that someone who plays the game knows what this machine is called. And later when someone takes a video of this thing and we show it off in pictures and videos, then someone can tell us what it is.
Or you could describe what that spaceship looks like.
I could do that.
Good.
You probably have
the Call of Duty
too.
I was
Can't find it.
No, I was looking for a name.
Can't
there it is, down at the bottom. Brute Chopper Raid.
Way cool.
Attack Chopper Brute if you are French, and Invisible Chopper if you are possibly French, and the other one might be not French.
Oh, cool.
And there's 221 pieces, and you have to be 8 years old to build it. Otherwise, you're too stupid. The other one is Call of Duty, and it's the anti-aircraft vehicle. And it's a gun.
So I'll be honest, when I first saw you pull them out there, my first thought was not, oh, you have kids that like playing with Lego type things. My first thought was, you're going to repaint them as Joe things, right?
I might.
Right.
That'd be cool. Especially that anti-aircraft
Yeah, the
gun.
anti-air. I mean, it's practically already G.I. Joe. I might just stick some stickers on it. But yeah, I mean,
that's what I thought was going to happen.
I was kind of looking at them like that in Goodwill, thinking, well, that looks very G.I. Joe, and that looks very Cobra. So that might happen.
Is there a Space Force?
Yeah, I think Donald Trump created that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it is nice that you can instantly tell that Mega Bloks and Legos have not been open. Because to open them, you have to basically destroy the box.
Oh, it's glued.
Yeah.
Tabs.
Well, there's a tab here. That's
rip
perforated.
it.
You just press it in and just tear the box the hell open.
Yeah.
So that's what I've gotten this week.
Very cool.
I think I haven't been very good on. I've been off the mic a bit. Sorry.
I'll let it slide this
to
time.
the listeners. I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Talking to the.
Well,
listeners.
then I'm going to talk to Elgin. Elgin, what do you got for us today?
I got a bunch of stuff.
I see that.
I can start from the beginning.
Oh, look at that.
Got some more Funko Pops.
Funko Pops.
Was in Walmart.
Look what you did.
I know.
So happy.
Went into Walmart and they had this Montana up there because it was one of their convention.
Not just that one. They had like 40 of them.
Does it have a butthole
But
for a mouth?
Yeah, it looks like it. I'll open it up so you can look at it and finger his mouth, I guess.
Show me his very red butthole.
It's black.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
His head's red.
head's red.
He-Man has like very overly sexual thing.
Yeah.
Like there was the He-Man
touch?
pubic
You
hair
can touch
thing
it too, Jason.
that you brought last time.
Which one?
The one that had pubes.
Oh, yeah. The Grizzlord.
Yeah.
The
flocked.
flocked loincloth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he meant with the flock. So that was at Walmart. That was their convention, Funko Pop convention, exclusive on Walmart, exclusive on for 2021.
Well, where's the sticker? Why'd you take that?
It was on the box, the sticker.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I know. I wish it was on the actual
Yeah, I thought
box, but it was on the display case,
that's
which is, and I tried to like scratch it off to steal it.
yeah,
I mean, put it on mine,
right.
and it wouldn't
That's-
come off.
Half the collectability of them things.
But there's Montana.
That's
And he's got his
pretty
little
cool.
crossbow is great, which the original figure had.
I mean, he opened it, so it's worthless now.
What a
Yeah.
weird ass toy.
But on the original one, I should have brought the original one because I have it. His eyes pop out. There's an action feature on the back where you slide a lever on his back and his eyes kind of pop forward.
I think I might have that one
I have it.
in a box somewhere.
He's cool.
One of these days.
And then his eyes, like on the original one, his eyes would be like little lines across it too. And then I stopped in at GameStop later that week or something and found they were having a tax day sale, so all the pops are like $10. And they had a Sorceress there, which I thought was pretty cool. Which I think it has the little display thing on the bottom.
Good.
The little
Must be that top heavy that they give the little.
That's
it's
just
down
really
here.
small feet.
Here it is. I can get part. That's that little disc, the
Very
plastic
cool.
disc that you can display
Should
them
be
on.
in all of them.
It should be, but yeah, because she has a very tiny
Oh wow, yeah.
arms spread open, like she's ready to fly.
No way she'd stand on her own.
Yeah, it would,
Her body's way smaller than most pops.
yeah.
It's the freaking
Oh,
sorceress.
Evil Lynn is like that too. Her feet are like dainty little feet. Yeah, so that's exactly what she
That's
makes.
awesome.
So so I got that GameStop, and I also picked up the magnets.
Mhm.
No, that was a different place.
I
Never
don't
mind.
get why they even make the head turnable.
Yeah, I don't know.
They,
It doesn't really turn.
they just break something.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's fine. So then I went to the QuadCon in Des Moines
Yeah.
last Saturday and found some vintage toys. I think I posted on Instagram already on our Motu Monday. But I found a vintage Dragon Walker, which does work.
Oh, my
I won't turn it on because it's loud.
But you showed it to us earlier.
But, yeah,
and
I
that's
showed-
freaking cool.
and I kinda-
Do a video of it.
You could just
Yeah,
make
I'll
the
do it.
noise into the
Yeah,
mic.
it goes, yeah,
That's pretty
it
much.
makes like a duck. It's nice.
Yeah. Was that a duck sound?
Like a sick
If
duck.
you squeeze it right.
And that, then I found a Prince Adam there.
Your
His
first
little-
prince?
Actually, I have another one, but I he didn't have any clothes, so I just put the jet sled armor on him.
Yep.
So I didn't have to buy a different one. But then that's just him with his little felt clothing, I guess. So that was there, and then I got good old Snout Spout, who does work.
Snout Spout.
If you push the button on his
water.
back, you pour water in his back, and then he shoots it out of his nose.
Yeah, that was the Joseph Merrick action.
Yeah,
figure.
exactly.
The Elephant Man.
Yeah, and so he's basically a firefighter. Yeah, because that's his fireman's axe that he has.
He blows his own head off every time he's.
Yeah, and
So is he good or bad?
he's a good guy.
Okay.
So he was. So his name is Snout Spout.
Those are good questions.
But-
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll explain that later, Corey. That you're looking at.
Did I just break this?
No.
Okay, good. So it's like,
It was-
oh shit, did I just break this?
It was already broken, so I had to fix it. I basically super glued it together and there's a pin that I stuck inside it as well, holding it together.
It's not like it's okay. I'm
We
gonna
don't
stop
hand
touching.
Corey
Yeah.
stuff anymore today.
So yeah, it was a broken figure, so I ended up gluing stuff back together.
Okay.
And,
Snout
Yeah.
Spout.
he was also referenced as Hose Nose in like a mini comic, but the actual thing is Snout Spout. So his butt was also broken as well.
Ouch.
So I had to glue that back together. I got some Loctite, the gel Loctite
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it wouldn't go anywhere. And so, but his legs still move freely and everything.
That's good.
So, and the action feature does work, where you can actually shoot out
Yeah,
water.
you probably don't see him out very much.
But yeah, I
So
did.
It actually shoots water out of its nose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
That's a little-
fantastic.
There's a few other ones that do that. Cobra
Commander,
No, Cobra Khan.
Cobra Kai.
Shoots a little like mist out as well. But yeah, I had to glue that together.
Yeah.
I drilled it out and then used a nail gun nail, which is a lot thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then jammed that in on both sides and then just go
Serious.
there.
I love it.
But yeah. So yeah. And then at Hot Topic they had these magnets that I haven't opened yet. But maybe I'll open them
Those are adorable.
later to see what they are. That they had
So
at the
it's
mall.
got Orko on the front.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's
So it could be He-Man, She-Ra, Skeletor, Orko, or an exclusive mystery figure.
Oh.
let's
Yeah.
hope.
So yeah, that's what I found.
All
what you
Orcos.
got?
Maybe it's
Yeah,
full
all
of,
Orcos.
maybe it's
no.
full of Seaman.
Spoony, what have you found last week? So
I looked it up, but I totally forget the name of this Grimlock. But it's one of the little kid ones that you pull his tail apart and like spin him to get him to transform, and it's pretty dumb,
but also kind of cool.
kind of cool.
But kinda dumb.
it's a movie, one of the movie Grimlocks.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of looks dumb to start with. So yeah, girlfriend got that at somewhere, I don't know. I think she told me
Build-A-Bear.
somewhere in Des Moines. And it's in good shape, and it's complete because it didn't come with anything.
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
and then I got these stupid little. So it's Easter time for those listening to this in the future. So there's
Future time.
You future people out there.
This kind of ties into the next thing, in that these are things that shouldn't have been made. It's like a little treasure box with some Hershey's Kisses and Transformer figures. There's 5 different ones. I bought, and they're only like $2, and I bought all that they had. I should have just pulled the display off the wall too, but
It wasn't a big display. I saw it there.
it wasn't
It's
big.
pretty small.
So there was like Transformers and then My Little Pony, and all that was left
That's
was
hot.
Transformers.
Oh, bummer.
It'd almost be cool if it was you could have a chance to get either.
Transformers or My Little Pony.
Yeah. So they put on.
So these are just Transformers. So I had opened them all because the girlfriend likes My Little Ponies. So like, hey, maybe get something. But no, so I got like 27 Bumblebees and the worst Starscream. They're tiny
Is that
and they're
the Mom Jeans Starscream version?
kinda, yeah. So I got like There was like 3 Bumblebees and 2 Grimlocks and a Starscream. The Grimlock's kind of cool. He's in the dinosaur mode. He has a...
Oh,
I was going to say he had a hard time standing up, but he actually did.
Yeah, he looks like he's
about to.
The Bumblebee has a hard time
he
standing
looks like
up,
he
too.
just took him outside so that he could go do his business.
Yeah.
And Bumblebee's obviously drunk.
Those two stayed out too late last night.
Yeah.
Of course, the coolest looking ones are obviously the Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Right.
And I didn't get any of those. So
Yeah, but you started your Bumblebee army. Army build, so that's good.
Army of killer bees.
Laying down bumblebees.
Killer
And
bees.
I have like half a pound of Hershey's Kisses now.
Worth
So-
it.
Totally.
Nice.
And then some other stuff for other shows. But
What you got, Jason?
Well, I got the last weekend. Tina and I went on a little double date. Went over
Who's
to Tad's.
Tina?
Tina, my special lady friend. We went to Tad's house, had a little double date, and on our way home, we stopped. They have a Target, which is awesome and not fair.
Yeah.
because we used to.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in this Target, I'd seen these online, and I'm not one to collect statue type
Yeah.
things of toys. Mostly because they're so dang expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
It keeps me away from it. But they have these. They just put out these new Zoteki.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with that. They just released these 6 figures.
Zodakai.
Zydeco?
Yes.
Okay. With Optimus, Megatron, Bumblebee, Starscream, Soundwave, and Grimlock, and they all are a statue in a pose. And they all kind of fit on this grid puzzle that, if you got them all, would fit together.
So now you got to get them all?
That's a yes.
I thought that at the time, but normally it's for me, if I see Starscream, I get it. Even
Yeah.
if I have them already, or I'll get it. He's the one that I just grab no matter what. I gotta get Starscream. So when I saw this new toy that I wouldn't normally collect, I'm like, well, I'll at least get the Starscream. Because he's in a kick-ass pose where he's flying. He's got his little jet feet blazing out there. He's about to shoot down Optimus. It's going to be awesome. And I'll probably take him out of the box because it's nothing super spectacular, and he might actually look pretty cool sitting on the shelf.
Plus, when you get all the rest of them, you can connect them together.
Right, which I'm not doing, but thank you for... But yes,
Somebody
you're right.
needs to buy him one more so that then he's like, well, shit, now I've got 2. I might as well get the rest.
And then I think when we first started the podcast, I think it was early on even, I feel like Corey was like, hey, you get that Ghostbusters Transformer yet? And I'm like, no. Why would I want that stupid thing? But then, it goes in your brain, and then that's all you can think about. And then you go to eBay, and you look around, you're like, crap, I missed my window to get this cool toy. And then...
This is a Big Bad Toy Store purchase?
Ad drop. Yes, it is. And Big Bad Toy Store had the original version of this. They've recently, I forgot to look it up. Maybe Target did another re-release of this to go with the movie, and they repainted him a little bit. But they put him on like this big plastic bubble pack, and he came in robot form.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I probably wouldn't open him. So I had to get this version because he comes as the car, and he has the G1 style box that he comes in with that black and red grid, and just
and he's cool as hell. I almost bought one
awesome.
last year when they were on the shelves at Walmart. There were a few of them on the shelves at Walmart.
Wow, dang.
Where I'm from, and I nearly bought one because I was like, this is really
what a cool thing, right?
But I didn't because I don't collect Transformers.
And so I thought I missed it, but then Big Bad Toy Store, BBTS, they had them out again. I just happened to look, and
I think it was like $20 at Walmart when it came out.
don't say that.
Sorry.
But I got him for 40, but he was still going for minimum 60.
Yeah.
60 to 80 on the other market. So I was super happy to snag him up. But then I also you'll see the emblem in the top left, this 2019, this crossover thing. They're doing several of these, and you might know there's the Back to the Future one with Gigawatt He's been out in some places, but is you can pre-order him in some places too. And I also found, I think it's on Hasbro Pulse. They have an exclusive on there, which I might get, even though the movie's done. But Top Gun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is the movie?
cool.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
They have
The new one?
Yeah, they have a Top Gun crossover one with that style jet, and he looks nothing like anything a Starscream would ever transform into. He looks kind of more like Leader 1 of a GoBots, really, but
Oh, nice.
it's weird.
I mean,
And-
GoBots were all terrible robots, but still cool.
And then they also, I think, just put up for pre-order. There's the X-Men, that Super Jet, that big blue and
Yeah.
yellow
Yeah.
Super Jet crossover one. That might have to get him too. But anyway, Ghostbusters, it has a great connection to me as far as horror and the movies. I just love the movie a lot and still do. And so
It's awesome.
super stoked to get him. He looks so amazing.
Can't wait to open it and play with it.
No. So
Stay tuned.
moving on. Hey, let's get into our topic for this episode. What toy do you wish existed that doesn't? There's a lot of toys in the world, but they didn't make everything we were looking for and hoping
That's
for.
true.
And that's sad. So I was just wondering, it's a pretty fun topic. You get to speculate.
Mm-hmm.
You get to think about what could have been. Let's go over to you, Corey. What kind of toys do you wish made it into the world?
Oh, man. So I think the biggest one for me, and the biggest one that comes across the discussions when this kind of thing comes up, is from the G.I. Joe series and movie. There was this great big Cobra flying fortress looking thing. Like, it was huge, like bigger than the aircraft carrier, all that kind of stuff. Like this massive flying fortress thing that had like a big Cobra snake head, and it's just this giant, enormous, massive, and other adjectives jet that hauled the entirety of the Cobra army to wherever and dropped them all off to start shooting and missing. And there's a lot of people in the Joe world that say, man, I really wish that thing existed. I mean, if it did, and it was to any kind of scale as like the same as the flag, it would probably be, 8 or 10 feet wide and completely and totally impractical and impossible to play with. But there have been a lot of people in the customs world who have gotten jets from other toy lines and done customs, and they're pretty cool. Other than that, there was a lot of stuff that was in the comics and the TV, the cartoon and the movie that like a lot of vehicles and stuff that didn't ever really exist. That would have been really cool. I can't remember any of them off the top of my head now because I'm drawing a total blank. I can say that from the movie line, the toys that were created with like Globulus, who just looked like half guy, half earthworm. That's the stupidest action figure that's ever been made. It's you can't even play with him. It's like, oh, here I am. I'm just gonna slither around on the floor and get thrown in the toy box, and no one's ever gonna play with me because I'm dumb. And I mean, all the Cobra Law stuff. I don't know. I don't think there was ever a wide release of the Pythona figure, but a lot of people wanted her. I don't know. There's a lot of grown men in the G.I. Joe world that have a weird obsession with cartoon characters. That's other than that, I mean, geez, like there's so much G.I. Joe stuff, like it pretty much all does exist.
Yeah.
Like it's and if it doesn't exist, like there's a lot of people that have done customs that have so many great ideas that you can kind of steal them. Like, oh yeah, I can totally make stuff like that. Like stuff like the APC, the amphibious personnel carrier. It's just a big troop carrier, and there have been tons of people who have put like tank tracks on those and put like remote control stuff in. Like you see a lot of that. Like anything that's got any kind of tank track on it. I've seen several builds where people have put motors in them and put real tracks on them and like made it so they could drive these things around with a remote control. And they're really freaking cool. So it seems like for the most part, yeah, practically everything in the G.I. Joe world that you want already does exist. It's just a matter of actually being able to find it and not have to spend every dime of your stimulus check from the government on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. What about over in the Motu world?
I mean, if I could get in a time machine and go back and be like, hey, you should make this.
Yeah.
You know, that is kind of the approach I took to it. And a lot of it was with the Funko Pops. Now they're seeing that they're doing like the flocking of, you know, the fur and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish, because they already did Panther as a flocked original toy. And then they also, I was like, well, couldn't you just do Battle Cat?
Right.
Also?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
know.
you already did one.
Oh.
All you have to do is change the color.
You know how to do it.
And then they made Moss Man
Yeah.
as a flocked figure. Like, well, why couldn't you just do Beast Man?
Oh,
just change the
so-
color and just have him have orange fur instead of the green.
Basically, you just
fur.
wish that all of your toys were hairy.
Yeah, basically. All the ones that would have fur.
But those
or-
two are obvious.
Yeah.
Like, they missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beastman should have had a lot more like actual. Like,
Well, the same mold. So
mane.
the same mold they used for Moss Man is
yeah,
Beast Man.
Yeah,
Right.
And if you take off all his flocking, he's just green
yeah.
and shiny like Beast Man, except orange, you know.
Yeah.
And
Not that you can tell the difference.
yeah,
But Panther's one solid color.
right.
But Battle
Cat's
got
two
the
colors.
green and yellow.
Yeah.
Maybe that had something.
Maybe their technology wasn't as good.
It might have been being able to get the colors of flocking.
Yeah.
Orange.
Right.
Could have.
Spray paint it. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, that's really good. You
But
wished. You
I
wanted
kind of
that.
wish that they're just. It's like, well, you're already kind of doing it, so just do
Just
a little
do
more.
it more.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something like that would with now that I see like these Funko Pops that are flocked and maybe they just have the technology now to do that with different colors or whatever. But
At the very least, give him like a hairy belly so you can
Yeah,
give him little tummy rubs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Beastman always wanted.
Yep. The other thing would be with the movie, they only put out 3 original.
Are we talking about
Golf.
Yes, the only movie that they made, really, the '87 movie.
Go ahead.
They only really made 3 figures. They made Gwildor, Blade, and Sarad. So those are the only 3 that they made from
Yeah, I
the
really
from the
wish
original
they would have
line.
made a Courtney Cox figure.
Yeah. Well, I'm if they're gonna make those 3 figures, why not make more? You
Yeah.
know, why don't you make the ones that look like you basically have a new Man-at-Arms, a new Tila.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a new He-Man, a new Skeletor. You have 2 versions of Skeletor. You have when he becomes like the God mode version of it. You know,
Yeah.
and then they had Attila, they had the Sorceress, and they had Karg. I know they made Karg later in the Classics line, and they did a lot of these in the Classics line
Yeah.
later too. But those are really expensive, like $50 a figure or more. So I want like I said, going in a time machine, going
Yeah.
back to making them as the vintage style figures at that time. You know,
Yeah.
and even going further and be like, okay, well, why don't you make a Detective Lubbock? You know, the
Yeah,
the
see,
bald guy that was who got transported back to Eternia as well.
I kind of feel like maybe the marketing team back then were like, "Oh yeah, here we go. We're going to start making figures."
Yeah.
And then they saw the movie and they're like, "Well, shit."
Yeah, probably. There's and it was near the end of the line anyway. Because
Yeah.
'87 was the last year for making those figures.
Yeah.
All He-Man figures for the
Yeah.
original line. So
Yeah.
that I don't. But like I say, let's say the movie was good and it made tons of money. You know, expand out on that.
Yeah.
From that line.
Yeah.
But, and the last thing with seeing a lot of Hot Wheels cars now, like the ones we picked up
Yeah.
earlier and,
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, well, why don't you just make like a track, like a Hot Wheels track? You know, something like Snake Mountain or Castle Grayskull or Fright Zone or something like that. So then I ended up. I thought of that first, and so I looked on eBay to see if that even existed, and it does exist. There is a Snake Mountain challenge.
That's cool.
And it has a launcher, and it goes on a loop, and it goes through a cardboard cutout of Snake Mountain's mouth, and
Nice.
you launch the car into it.
So
But I
you
want like
ordered one.
that's a very.
Oh.
It's basically just like they already had that set, and they just like slapped
Yeah.
Masters on top of it.
So it sounds to me like maybe you just need to go get some Hot Wheel tracks, and then next time we're in Kokomo, just grab another
Exactly.
Castle Grayskull shell.
That's kind of what, well, especially for Snake Mountain, like the actual Snake Mountain, like the one they did for the Classics line is like 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
But to have it like going around the mountain and like shooting out, just, tons of stuff. But that's kind of what I would hope to,
seeing that Super Eternia playset, it looked like it did have tracks on it.
It does.
It had a monorail.
Yeah.
That
Oh my
went around.
God. But
That was like battery operated, but I want like actual Hot Wheel cars to like shoot through and like launch and go around stuff, and maybe like an elevator.
That would be
something
cool. How much was that Eternia playset when it was new, like originally?
I mean, Castle Grayskull was only $20.
Yeah.
So it had to have been more
Mm-hmm.
because it was more
It was
stuff.
A lot bigger, but
I don't
I
know
remember the
actual
flag
price
being the
on-
most expensive thing, and it was anywhere from $90 to $120 depending on where you went.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I
I
don't-
never saw one original, so I have no idea.
Can't
how much
imagine
it'd
there were
go.
that many of them to begin with.
Yeah, that was the problem. Well, I mean, they say that it's the most expensive, so that didn't sell. So it's got to be
Yeah.
in $80s dollars, like I don't know, 75,
Yeah.
100 or something.
So
like
if you
that.
have one in your basement or attic, please contact
just send
Cracktastic
it to
Plastic.
me,
Well,
and I will
Spooty,
play with it.
Spooty, what do you wish existed in the world?
I mean, a lot of the stuff with Transformers that I wish existed in like G1, they ended up doing later.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spike. I mean, he doesn't transform, obviously, but
Having some humans.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he was part of the show, big part of it.
Yeah.
There's also the Cybertron versions of
Right.
especially like the Starscream, like the Seekers.
Yep.
They ended up doing some of those later.
Eventually did, yes, and that's
And even the cars and stuff, they've kind of done that too.
Yeah.
I know you had a couple
Yep.
big ones, but
on my list.
that was about it.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, and then you're like, oh, what if I'm in 1986 and I'm watching the movie and you're like, what if they made a Unicron?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. And then they did. Man, it's so awesome. Yeah, they've made a lot.
I mean, luckily Transformers has been going steady enough since then that they've been able to put out a lot of those things.
Yeah, all three of these are toy lines. They're cartoons to make toys. You know,
right.
so it's like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess for my list, just having that Ghostbusters, that Ecto 1 here, that's a perfect example of like something you wish was a Transformer you never would have thought of. So every time, I don't know about you, but since I was a kid, I'm driving down the interstate and I look over and I see a dump truck or something, I'm like, oh, I can imagine what him and his buddies.
I was that way with the Mask
How big-
series.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you see an old Camaro driving down, it's like, oh, I wonder if it flies. It's like wings, doors open up.
Yeah, I've always done that. So seeing this Ecto 1 is freaking awesome. But then so then I started thinking, well, they're vehicles mostly, and Motu they have vehicles, but they're
Some,
not
yeah.
normal reality based kind of ones. So I
in fantasy world, so
instantly went to G.I. Joe, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why isn't there? I mean, they had versus comic books, they had crossover comic books.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't there be a transforming G.I. Joe? And I looked it up once, and there was a prototype one that was never produced, and it's probably the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But they made a little crossover one that never got end up being
Good.
released. But I know.
That's terrible.
Another thing I always thought would be cool after we got Unicron, they started building these big bases, Metroplex, Trypticon, Fort Max, and all that. Why there never was the Autobot Ark ship, the Autobot ship, and there never was the Nemesis ship, the Decepticon ship. There never really was. When I was looking this up, now there was definitely some people who had done some custom Nemesis ships that were like, oh my God, that's freaking cool.
And it's not that they would need to transform because they never really did.
Right. There
So-
just never was anything like it.
And that's with a lot of the Motu stuff. They make custom stuff now that they, of a lot of those, a lot of the movie line characters they've made either custom builds of those,
Yeah.
and even the classics or just like one-offs that people have done, which look really cool. But what I wanted was like something from that time period as opposed to something now that they're re-envisioning.
And then, so I don't know if it's a chicken or egg thing. Which came first? my love of Transformers or my enjoyment of classic cars, because I assume Transformers came first, but through most of my life, I've really enjoyed classic cars.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
Yeah, I know you definitely do. I mean, I don't know shit about cars or working on them or anything, but I just appreciate them. I love watching all the fix-em-up shows of cars and all those things. I just enjoy it, and just for the craft of it. But so growing up, I always had my favorite hot rod.
Right.
And Transformers, especially in the beginning, were literally based on real cars.
Yeah.
To scale real cars.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, I wished my favorite car just happened to never be a Transformer. And it was a 1968 427 SC Cobra.
Yep.
The blue,
Yep.
the little roller bar behind
Yep.
the drive. Oh my God, that's the sexiest car I've ever seen ever.
Just waiting for the Transformers Supernatural crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tina would freak and finally get her into Transformers. That would be great.
That's,
No,
that's a
is-
gateway drug for her then.
Yeah, yeah.
That car.
Big old 4-door Impala.
So that was a car I'm like, man, I wished. That would be cool.
That would be
That'd
cool.
be my favorite.
They never really did muscle cars.
Not really. I mean,
was
some
sports cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
But none of that late 60s, 70s muscle
Not
car.
that I
They
can
never
think of.
really,
It was probably a licensing thing. They didn't
That's
want to get
definitely
too
gotta
close
be
to
part
it
of it.
and get sued.
moving away from Transformers, I had a dream once
Okay.
that
We don't want to hear about that.
that I would someday, in my Funko Pop collecting, that someday maybe, just maybe, there would be a Boy Meets World themed Funko Pop.
Yeah.
And by gosh, I got my dream. It came true. They made
Tia and Tamara, right?
Corey and Topanga. Come
Right.
on. You just about got fired from the show. But
Do
and,
they have the
and-
whole classroom?
but
That's
that's the only thing.
Zach and Kelly.
There's no Mr. Feeney.
No
then
Mr. Feeney, no
Belding.
none of the brothers,
sure it's not
none of
Belding?
the other characters.
It's like it's
different
Stop
I
it.
think it's Belding.
I almost said Mr. Wilson.
I know
He's
that you
also
know what
in
you're
it, I
doing, so quit it. But so I'm not upset. I'm so happy that I have a Corey and Topanga Funko Pop. But it would be
It's the
really
tool
cool,
time guy. Corey's the tool time guy, right?
and it'd be really cool
Do they transform?
if no. Moving on.
I mean, I did get
Sorry.
the Angry Beavers pops.
Yeah, aren't those great?
Yeah. It's the
So
only ones
cool.
I have, except for that.
Didn't think
Bumblebee.
there'd be that. I know.
I actually really loved Boy Meets World.
Yeah, man, it's one of my
fantastic
favorite
show.
shows. One of my favorites. And then lastly, speaking of pops, recently on the Funko store, you can build your own pop. You can go through a million features and hairstyles and face structures and clothes, and this is cool to me and at least two people listening. I'm sure.
I went straight to Build a Bear and
Nope.
oh, that's cute.
But
I mean,
but
that's
it-
what I would need.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Is there a flocking option? I need to write that down.
It's only for digital, so you can only just create your own picture of a pop, which I've made many of myself and friends.
Are you going to
Not
share
guys.
those?
No,
So you just get a 3D printer.
maybe, but and then I think there's a store out in California that's Funko brand that would actually make
Create them,
custom
yeah.
pops for you, but only this one store, brick and mortar location. You can't even. But there's tons of Etsy stores, tons of people that do custom make pops, which is awesome. And I've looked into maybe getting some. And I always thought, just for me, it'd be really cool because with Prescribed Films, our film company, we have some characters that would be really fun. You know, like
Plant
demonic-
Monster.
the Plant Monster, which you got to play. You are the Plant-
Plant Monster would make a fantastic pop.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I mean, he was already adorable as a monster.
You just
Right?
buy a thing pop.
Yeah.
Or swamp thing.
Swamp
Yeah.
Thing and
And
no,
then
yeah.
put a new name on it.
I should
Yeah,
just do a
pretty
new
much.
box. That's good. That's good. Or Demonica would be really cool. She would look amazing as a pop.
Yeah.
Or the Bagman. It's dumb. It's dumb, but
be
it's just a paper
fantastic.
sack on some dude's head. Maybe that exists, and we can just repackage some things. But I always thought it would be cool to get some PF characters made into pops, just for my own personal enjoyment. And then I'll be honest, guys, in the last week or so since we've been thinking about this topic, I cannot get out of my brain from the last time we recorded, we started talking about 3D printers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I start thinking about, like, what if we made our own, like, you know, those reaction figures? It's just that single card with that little tiny figure that's
Yeah.
just on the bubble on the front. Just,
Yeah.
what if we made our own of us? I mean, we could use it. We could have a variant version. One's the podcast, one's the band.
Right. Yeah. We
sell
could
them at
totally make
shows.
it like
It's
make
a new
them,
merch thing.
We could
Yeah.
make the action figures look like the characters from the comic book.
Right, and we have our own comic book.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'd have
That's
the
another
superhero
variant.
versions too.
So it
yeah.
could be 3 versions.
So
And-
mine will have to sell for more because there will be more plastic.
Yes, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to let you know you'd be the one stuck painting all these, so that'd be your job. But wouldn't that?
Oh
be
man,
cool?
now I want an action figure line for X-Ray Mary with like to go with the comic book.
Oh, it needs to happen. That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
So,
There's 2 3D printers upstairs.
oh, see, we're going to talk
Nice.
more about this once the show's over.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we've had a lot of people chime in already on things they've thought should exist, and if you're listening and think of some more, please let us know on all our socials and stuff. But we're going to move on. We're going to take a quick little break right now, and you're going to hear a little message from our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
And we're back. It's time to get in the van, guys. Let's go on the road and take a little trip. Let's go on a store tour.
All right, the store that we're going to go visit to today is called Quake Collectibles. It's at 4628 North Lincoln Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. This was kind of a smaller store. We went to see it when we were playing in Chicago. A friend of ours, Larry, took us down there, and I guess he knew the owner there.
It was clear he'd shopped there many
Yes,
times.
yeah, and basically, yeah, if you paid cash, you get a little discount too. And
Oh, that's right.
I think the only thing I bought
Chicago
there,
of 'em.
yeah, he'd do a handshake with him, and the cash is inside. I think the only thing I bought there was like some weapons. I think some random
Yeah.
weapons.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think because they had a little box of like random parts, and at that time, I think that's all I was really looking at. They didn't really have a lot of figures. Well, 2 figures up there. They had them like way up on a top shelf in the line, and you had to like get a ladder and look at them. And I didn't really want to do that because it was jam packed in there.
Yes.
But yeah, I just bought some weapons, and I think I bought the Battle Cat armor, and then I think I bought the Battle Cat later at the other toy store that we're talking about later, maybe. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I'd like to go back there just to see.
Absolutely.
They had other stuff.
It was one of those stores that's classically like uses every single inch of space from the floor to the ceiling.
Yeah.
To all 4
And he has a
corners.
ladder like available to like reach anything that's about the ceiling.
Not that
is
you
no
could get
room.
it out.
Right.
It's
You, like,
bowl in
point
a
to
china
it.
shop kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I think
So-
with the 3 of us in there,
Yeah.
and there were 2 other people, and it was
Yeah.
crowd.
Oh yeah.
but amazing.
there was probably
amazing.
15 other people in there, and like
Just
you
walk
had to
sideways and like look up.
walk sideways, and then stand in the corner and wait for a group to pass
Yeah.
so that you can get into a place. And yeah, it was like there was a lot of cool stuff, but it was so cramped.
Just stacked on top of
Yeah, an amazing selection of all things vintage to current. And
Yep.
I really enjoyed watching Larry wheel and deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a plan. and I want to get these figures, and I'm going to find them. And he goes in there, and he found some, and was having a good old time because you get, that's one of the great things about a toy store is getting to know the owner. And you want to become friends, and he wants you to become friends, and get to work them deals out. So it was great seeing Larry in action.
Yep.
Yeah, Larry has quite the collection.
That he won't give you.
No, but he's got a really great collection.
He does.
And it's really fun to see it and hang out and
just this weekend. This last weekend, it was Saturday morning. He just put on a Facebook Live, and I just sat there for an hour or two just watching him. He just redid his.
Oh, jeez, that's got to be.
I forgot. Or shoot, I don't collect them, so I don't remember. But the
Star Wars.
No, it was a. Gosh, now I'm going to get hate mail. Sorry, Larry.
Actual mail.
God, I can see it. I can see it. He's yelling at his phone right now. Sorry, but I watched him rearrange a shelf. He just basically cleared it all off, put them all back on, and just had some great horror movie music playing in the background. Nice. It was fun. And I'm like, at first I'm like, well, this, what? This, but then an hour later I'm like, this is just great. I get to hang out with Larry on a Saturday morning.
Watching somebody else clean and organize.
Oh, yeah. So now that puts me from having to do it for another week or two, and it's great. It was really fun. So thanks, Larry, for that. And thanks for taking us to this awesome little store.
No problem.
Yeah. I broke something while I was there. I was
did.
looking at a Viper figure, and it was one of the more modern ones. It was still an O-ring figure, but it was one of the more modern ones. And I was touching it because I wanted to touch it because I was going to buy it. And I moved his head and the chest broke. I was like, well, shit. And the guy saw it. I was like, I'm really sorry. I just broke this. I'm going to buy it from you. He's like, yeah, I'll sell it to you at a discount because it's broken. I was like, but I broke it. I'm not going to give you a discounted price because I broke the toy. No. I'm gonna take a few bucks off. It's a broken toy. It's like, but I broke it. I went back and forth with the guy 5 times, and finally he's like, no.
That's just how cool that guy was.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bought a couple of things. I bought another Awe Striker there, and I bought that figure, which I think I got on eBay and found the chess piece for it for $2 on eBay, and ordered a new chess piece and rebuilt him, and now he's fine and he's hanging out in one of the many drawers in my figure organizer in my basement.
It is fair that he gave you a discount considering you were just holding it.
I mean, yeah, but
Well, all right, that's Quake Collectibles, 4628 North Lincoln Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Please stop by if you can. It's a great, great place. Now it's time to move into another segment. It's everyone's favorite segment where we hear from you, the listener. It's time for Talkin Toys.
Well, this week's question was, what toys do you wish existed that don't? And we had a lot of responses to this one. We posted it on our Instagrams and our Tweeters and our Space. And Brian Clark, he responded to this quickly. He said, from time to time. Nope. That's not what he said.
That didn't sound like Brian at all.
Yeah.
From the time I...
No.
No, it's not Brian. He said, from the time I first saw the movie as a kid, I wished there was a Tremors playset. This hits home with Elgin because I think it's probably about his favorite movie of all time is Tremors.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that Tremors is one of Elgin's favorite movies of all time. And that's because it's fantastic. It's one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, I love
Fucking Tremors. He goes on to say, designed similarly to the Ninja Turtles sewer, it would be a section of street in Perfection, Nevada, with Chang's Market and a few other buildings. The side would be cut away so you could move your graboid figure underneath the street, popping it up through the trapdoor, or maybe some brown vinyl flaps to simulate dirt, to grab your Val and Earl and Bert figures and drag them to their doom. Of course, the graboid would have a lever on its back in the form of one of its little digging claws. I saw dangling and I was like, what's next? Digging claws that, when pushed forward, would extend its tongues. You have given this a lot of thought, Brian.
Yeah.
You probably should have done this segment instead of me. Stephen Tracy, who will incidentally be a guest on our next episode, so can't wait for that, said, love it! Except he's got a bit of an accent, so he said, love it. Even his burnt basement set with the arsenal and the graboid busting through. I love that he said busting because I can hear him saying busting through in his beautiful, gorgeous, sexy flyboy accent. And Brian Clark says, sold separately, obviously, duh. Elgin chimed in later saying, I love that movie. On a side note, my wife bought me the set of all 7 movies. Brian responded to this and said, the first one is a perfect monster movie. We agree, Brian. Brian Clark, we agree. We agree, Brian Clark. The second one is damn near as good as the first.
It is. Just rewatched it again after I watched the first one.
It is damn near as good.
It's good.
3 and 4 and the TV series are good fun. I remember when the TV series came out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, shit, this is good.
3 is good. It's called Back to Perfection.
Ass Blasters, or is that 4?
Yeah, that's 3.
Okay.
4 is the Back in the Old West.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that one. He said, as soon as the studio started making them without Wilson, Underwood, and Maddock behind the camera, it went off a cliff. 5 was absolutely wretched, and I haven't bothered to watch the other 2. Brian, we implore you, watch the other 2. They're probably not good. But you're never going to know. It's like the Fast and the Furious series.
The 6th one, I know I watched all of those. I cannot remember anything about the 6th one at all.
Oh.
Like, I've watched it, and I have no recollection of anything.
Were you in the sort of state where your brain was prepared to remember things?
Probably not. But I do remember the 7th one.
Okay.
That one's called Shrieker Island, I think. And then... the one in the 5th one, I think, is they were in South Africa for some reason.
You don't really go into part 6 and 7 of a B horror movie sober.
No, and you don't go into it with any fucking expectations, Brian. Moving on, Larry, our good friend Larry, Chicago Larry, Toy Store Larry. He says, Street Trash 2-pack of Bronson and Bill the Cop.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Turbo Kid and Apple.
Oh, yeah.
And all the characters from Psycho Gorman.
And they just put those out. They just came out this week.
Nice.
They actually.
Hey, surprise, Larry. I bet you already know that.
He does.
Yeah, well, Tad said, our friend Tad Good chimed in and said that Plastic Meatball is making a Psycho Gorman. And Larry then said, woohoo! So that happened.
That did sound like Larry. So that was good.
Let's see. With moving on with this, I have somewhere Tad's list. I am looking, and I'm failing at looking. Nope. I'm waffling because I can't find it. He said, I have a list of 7-inch NECA Ultimate figures I've always wanted, but I'll narrow it down to the top 5. Jack Burton, BTILC. Jack Torrance, The Shining, Kubrick. Travis Bickle, Taxi Driver. Quint Brody Hooper, Jaws. And Seymour, because I couldn't get it to load when I took the screenshot. I'm sorry, Tad. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. My internet connection here sucks, and I was really trying to look it up and couldn't figure it out. And he said, you really can't have Jack Burton without Lopan.
True.
And there was another thing with The Thing and some action figures going on there with The Thing, and the picture is too small for me to read. But somebody from our podcast commented huge news, and I'm guessing it was Jason. So you know about that.
They just announced a Thing Kurt Russell figure.
Yep.
And that's pretty amazing. Pretty awesome.
Oh, right on. We've got some others here. We've got Andrew Awesome, he had some NECA options here. Another one that I feel so bad. I'm sorry, Andrew. I can't see them all because I couldn't expand it. But it was, some of them were Cropsy from the Burning Road Warrior line. That would be cool. Trash, ROLD, rolled. Snake Plissken. I saw the word Piskin and I knew that wasn't right.
It was Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, and then Douglas Quaid from Total Recall. That would be cool. And then they did make the Snake Plissken as a pop, which Cracktastic Jason pointed out because nobody else at this table knows anything about that stuff. Our buddy Jeremy Sample said Last Starfighter figures or Close Encounters.
Oh.
I think a Close Encounters playset would be really cool. The closest we got was Weird Al's Mashed Potatoes in UHF. Steven said NECA Tommy Jarvis, Tom, of course, and Lawrence Roberts, Mattel's Clash of the Titans, second wave of figures with Medusa. I feel like I think that's all of them.
Awesome.
I think that's where we're at. I think that's yeah. Thanks everybody for the responses. If I missed you, send us some hate mail, and I will make sure that you get a mention and a free gift of hello from us on the microphone. Check us out. We're going to be posting more questions on the Instagrams and the Tweeters and the Space Face and all of the other things that your mom uses that children younger than us don't. And, Friendster. Do we have a Friendster?
No.
Do we have a MySpace?
No.
Do we have a...
All right, thank you, Corey, for this wonderful segment. You are awesome.
OnlyFans. Do we have an OnlyFans?
No. So that's
not
it, guys. Guys, we did it. We did it. Another episode in the bag. Hot diggity dang.
Wrap it up.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's go look for some toys. Thanks,
Heck yeah.
everybody, for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Right on.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. But not so fast, my foul fiends. Don't forget to follow these fools on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And visit cracktasticplastic.com. I'll be back.